It is time.
Hi, this is your host, Farks Gladwin. We're here with the Interactive Podcast, your resident oxygen thief, doing most of the talking as usual. I'm interviewing Cody. Cody is from Assorted Popcorn. He's done a movie, an animated movie called Vampire Skunk. Which I came across, and of course, things being very relevant to me. If you know my interests, I see something with skunk in it. Obviously, I'm going to take notice and at least give it a little bit. And so, I have a lot of questions for you, Cody. I got to be honest. I was a little taken aback by the length of the actual production and everything that kind of went into it.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And just indeed. All right. So we'll put in and then maybe I'll actually put a little link and stuff like that for those. My first interaction with Cody was through my Tumblr. And I found his Tumblr where he had a link to the actual video. I said, Cody, I want those 39 minutes and 42 seconds back of my life, as a joke and stuff and everything. And then he owned me. He absolutely, and of course are not my words. My friend Guy-Fi, he and who reblogged it too, but he actually, before he reblogged it, I'm in a Skype call with him, and so I'm talking, and he goes, yesterday I was having like a day and stuff. I was like, oh, I'm kind of down, and he's like, oh, is that because you got owned on Tumblr by Cody? And I'm like, maybe that has something to do with it and everything, but it was pretty fun. No, trust me, it was. I can take my lumps, and that was good. I was like, holy crap! Of course, the VHS tape, because what he did was he wrote like a like 39 minutes and 42 seconds of the name of my Tumblr's life as a sticker on a VHS tape, and I was just like, who uses VHS tapes anymore? All right, so I have a lot of questions to ask. It's going to be a lot of fun because I really, as much as snarky as I am and stuff and everything, there were certain parts of this I actually really enjoyed. And so, I mean, there's a lot of, it's very interesting. But my first question, and I have a lot of them, but this is the one that comes to the top every time I think about this. Cody, my number one question is, why did you essentially make what is tantamount to a furry undead version of like a Seinfeld episode?
You think it's a Seinfeld episode?
Because nothing happened.
That's okay.
Well, no, it was interesting as for, again, at certain points it was like, wow, this is like a little it was very stream of consciousness, but like thinking about it,
definitely was
because I'll be honest, I was in one of my bigger Skype stream rooms with a bunch of artists that are in the fandom that are for, and so I happened to be in the call. All right, you want to know how all right, so why, let me before I go on and let's get an answer. So why did you make what I feel is really tantamount to like a furry undead Seinfeld?
That's a tough question to answer. I mean, the easy answer is just I made what I wanted to make. I mean, and you're the one saying it's a Seinfeld episode.
Well, of course. It's not really. It's just It's got that sort of like ambiguity and lack of like lack of like a story. Like nothing happens. I mean, it does in the beginning, and then just kind of. I mean, this is why I talk about it being like akin to a Seinfeld episode, is because it is like, okay, we have whatever crisis or thing or level of like thing of interest in a Seinfeld episode, and then the rest of the episode barely it either is solely has to do with that one thing, and that's all there is, or they barely even touch upon, and like it kind of like, and occasionally you'll have like a little thing with someone, and then boop, it's back to like wacky antics and stuff, and that's kind of what happened here. It's like, okay, and I mean, I don't really want to give huge spoilers to like, I mean, I'll ask you, Cody, do you care if I give spoilers to this movie? that you've done and stuff. I mean, I don't want to deter anybody from actually spending. Other than my,
I wouldn't spoil all of it.
Yeah, so obviously, you know.
I mean, you say there's nothing to spoil, I guess, is what you're.
Well, no, because there is, I'll say this much: it opens rather well, and then kind of devolves into the sort of like, you know, because it doesn't feel like it really. I mean, it does go a little bit. All right, I guess even better would be because Seinfeld's a little. I mean, hey,
that's a sitcom, man.
Well, but that's what happens. Your movie devolves into kind of like a sitcom.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Kind of. Actually, it's closer to like Clerks.
Never seen Clerks.
With what's his face there, Silent Bob. That sort of thing, where it's a little stream of consciousness, and you kind of have this sort of backseat looking at like goings instead of being really focused and shunted into. I mean, like Kubrick films, they make you look at certain things. You know, you don't have a choice. You're like, here we go. Kevin Smith, that's who it is, from Silent Bob and everything. He, in certain things, especially like Clerks and that type of stuff, it's very stream of consciousness. It's just like a fly on the wall, and you happen to be there, and what's happening is funny and entertaining, but it doesn't have a lot of depth. You know,
but
and I guess
you still like it, right?
Well, for certain things, again, you know, people have certain pretensions, and if you start off in a certain way. And I'm not trying to critique what you're doing.
No,
here,
please do.
Or tell you that, oh well, no, this isn't how you and everything. But it's like,
no, I'd love to hear that. I was gonna ask, like, I'd love to hear like your version of Vampire Skunk.
Well, that's why I was curious about spoilers and stuff and everything, because I didn't want to give away. In talking about, I would have to give away a lot of.
You got to tell them. Well.
I could try. Actually, I could be creative and like omitting certain things and just being a little more vague. And I was going to kind of get to that, but this is where, you know. So it starts off very strongly, and you have definitive characters, and you have, you know, a little bit of their personality coming up, and then it takes like a left turn, and it's like, oh, did the writer get fired?
Where's the left turn, though? That's interesting.
The left turn is when they get back to when they take the cab ride after that, and then all of a sudden it's like
that's a spoiler, folks.
Yes, sorry, and everything. It's well, you can be again if I mean, all you have to do is see the trailer for it.
I guess it doesn't really matter if we.
You know, I'm not going to give out huge plot points and stuff. I mean, it's like, oh, you mean a vampire skunk would live in a castle? You break the fourth wall a lot.
Yes.
That's funny. That is funny, but it seemed like it took over a certain. I was like, you know, when Monty Python goes furry,
that's
you know,
fun.
and everything.
Great.
No, it is. It's hilarious.
I'll put that on the box.
But the I loved it. It was much better than Cats. I'm gonna watch it again and again. But anyways. Back to the main reason why we're here, and everything is for Vampire Skunk. Yeah, it just seems like, and then all of a sudden it kind of unravels. You know, it's almost kind of like, I don't know. Do you know Bill Plimpton and his Plimptons? Have you seen that? In one of his one of his full length, one of his first full length features. It's called the Tune, and there's a lot of random stuff going on that has nothing to do with the plot line whatsoever. and all of a sudden they almost break the fourth wall by having the two main characters, like this 4 minute or 2 minute and a 2.5 minute scene happens, which is kind of interesting and really well done, but it has nothing to do with the plot. And then all of a sudden you see them and it pans out and they're in like the background, and like whatever was just unfolding is like finishing, and they're whatever, you know, it's moving off screen, and they're like, why are we watching this? And they say that in the movie, and then they go back to the like whatever the plot was and stuff, and it's kind of like seems like that happens a lot. And like it's almost like, hey, maybe you should have. I think you might have actually almost alluded to this with. I don't want to call him Ani because he gets angry when when you call him that, and I don't know. I've only heard the name a couple of times by and everything, so I don't want to pronounce it and sound foolish. But the main character,
Aninyar.
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 All right, there you go. I dare say he was like, you know, wait, you guys, you know, there's a movie going on here, you know. And that's like, I was saying that a couple of minutes before he did.
Yeah.
You know, and that type
I
of
was
thing.
too late,
so,
man.
so it's very whimsical, and it's not something to be taken very seriously. And I hope that, I mean, granted, I know how much effort. This is why we're having this conversation, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, and this is where I'm going to go next. So, well, I don't know, you didn't really answer the. So why does this exist?
Oh man.
Yeah, like when? All right, I guess let me break it down. When did you get the idea for this? How long ago? Or has it been like one of those things you've had for a long time?
No.
This is all right.
It's a very traceable idea. Let's see, January 2013 would have been, yeah, right when
Let me consult my notes. Wow.
Oh.
No, I mean that's you. You know,
No, I don't have notes.
Let me look at
notes in my brain.
let me look at the first storyboard that I did, and
Oh yeah. No, there's hardly any
storyboard. Yeah, I know exactly. trust me, I know. You know.
No, I mean the simple answer for why does it exist is obviously because I made it.
But why did you? Was this something? Did you have a conversation with somebody, or is this something like kind of like a? You're like you had the. I would imagine some of these characters existed before. No, this is like all like one like sign sealed invention sort of thing that all kind of sprouted up. Wow.
Yeah, so it was January 2013, and I had just gotten let go from UPS because it was just like a temporary thing.
Yeah, holiday job or something.
Yeah, and then I was just kind of sitting around, and I was very frustrated because me and Chris, the guy that worked on this with me.
Okay. I just wanted. I don't want to jump too far ahead or anything like that.
Uh-oh.
So there actually was somebody else.
Yeah, one mysterious.
Okay, good. Because in the movie, you allude to perhaps that's
not... no, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, well, this again, I paid attention. But I saw at the end, actually, Christopher Fife, background art, character art, I took notes.
I'm very proud of it.
Christopher Fife, background art, character art, animation, and lots of help. And so I was like, does this individual? This is like again one of the top 5 questions. Do they in fact exist, or is this another pseudonym of Cody? I was curious about it. Well, that's good. That makes me feel a little better because
you thought I was insane.
No, because I am somebody in my productions that I've done. I tend to be a bit obsessive, so I'm like, I'll do everything myself.
Oh, you wouldn't let anybody in, you mean?
Well, it's not so much that. It's just like, I can do this. Oh, I can do this too. I can do it all. And I'll do it. And I know what I want, so there won't be any compromises.
Yeah,
I won't have to. I have, back from my production background and stuff, I've had to work. I mean, I worked for a video company for a while, and then I did corporate photography as well. So, I mean, I've had to work with others, and you know, I can be a team player, but if it's something that it's like a passion type of thing, it's one thing if it's just like, oh, I'm just, you know, I'm punching a clock, you know, there's nothing artistic about this and stuff. But like when you get into an artistic sort of thing and you're working with other people, you know, this is why bands dissolve and people get, you know, beat up, you know, in the studio, is because they don't see eye to eye about, like, they have a different vision and stuff like that and everything, and sometimes you know, some people are a little more forceful about it. So yeah, I was curious as far as that type of stuff. But anyways, you had some time to kill, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's right. What I was trying to say was we had tried so many projects before, me and Chris. We had tried, like, I was going to do like a sequel to one of my old movies that I made when I was like 16, and then we was thinking about doing like a detective visual novel or something like that.
Yeah.
And we kept kind of hitting walls a lot because we're not really animators per se. I can't even really draw.
You faked it really well.
Well, thank you.
I got to give you some credit, actually, and we're going to get into production a little bit too, because I'm really highly curious about certain things and what you used and all that type. But we'll get into the technical stuff now. We're in the heart and soul area of this. So you had, and so this didn't exist before. Let's say so somebody, because again, like myself, who has a lot of visual creative stuff, and I write. In my day job, I would be daydreaming about, so like there was no you at UPS delivering everybody's Christmas packages and thinking about, oh, I can't wait to do Vampire Skunk.
No, not that movie. At that time, I was working, like I say, on one of the projects before that. And I was like doodling it and kind of thinking about that. Yeah.
Now would be a good time to plug those things if you or did they ever make the?
Oh no, they fell to the.
They're long gone.
They moved aside for the big dog.
Oh, well, all right. I
Vampire
see.
Skunk.
Which apparently at the time was unbeknownst to anybody to actually be a big dog, as you said. So very good. All right. So you were getting together with Chris.
Mm.
So what else?
We needed I wanted to, because I'm always just making stuff. That's what I've done like forever. Always making stuff. But these older projects, we ran into so many walls. I tried out Flash for a while. Wasn't really working. Didn't really know what I was doing. And then it was just I mean, like I have so many ideas, and it was just like any other day. Sometimes I wonder, like, the things I make are almost just like, it could have been anything. It could have been like Mummy Rabbit or something.
If this didn't like take hold, it could have been about the bovine character, like something completely about. It could have been flipped out, completely upside down, and had the bovine character be the star of it and everything. So there's no, again, because of in the name of the title, we have the skunk. So there's no, because I was looking through your gallery and looking through things, and there was no major interest other than just, I mean, why a skunk? Like, why is a skunk the main? I mean, is this?
Well, that's the story, and it's going to be.
All right, great. There we go.
It's going to be pitifully depressed or disappointing, rather.
Well, no, it'll be an answer. We'll have. Regardless of what anybody else, I personally will have some closure. I'll have like an answer because I'm curious. Why a skunk? You know.
Okay, so I was trying to think up a username because I've had a lot of problems with that, like just deciding on like. I mean, I'm new to the whole like let's get on the internet and hang out stuff, kinda. Okay. I mean, I didn't really have functional internet until I was like 20 maybe. So yeah, I was thinking of a username, and I thought of the term vampire bat, you know. And I was thinking like it's sort of a backwards way to even think of this idea, but I was like what can you replace with bat that sounds funny? And I arrived at Vampire Skunk, and since I have just a crazy hyperactive type brain, it just went into movie mode, like, oh yeah, Vampire Skunk, and then it kind of played out before me.
And so it once that idea took hold, it kind of ran away from it, like, you know, from the
kind of. I mean, it starts out really different, like. The nut of the idea was really just like a skunk over top of a victim, and it was actually gonna like cut to a commercial break, like we'll be right back to Vampire Skunk.
So you're leading me to believe that this almost 40-minute piece really is only like, and like I was saying, it starts off really strong, and so really you only had the core element of like maybe the first 5 minutes is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah, well, no, of course, at the beginning and stuff like that. Well, and that's why I was like, yeah, it seems. Well, so that makes sense actually, because it does then kind of, like I said, that left turn almost, you know. So that's what you had established, and which was really strong and everything. So, so then I tried to draw up a skunk, not very well. I'll give. I mean, comparing yourself to whom? Really is what I have to say as far as that. It's it works well for what it is. You're not trying to be something that you're not. It's original. Yeah. What did you use?
Microsoft Paint.
Like for the entire thing?
A few things are Photoshop from Chris, but you know, just using like the
there was some
the tool,
some background. Again, this isn't really spoilers. This is more technical stuff. Again, I did watch the entire thing. I'll be honest, I didn't sit down. I watched it in 3 parts.
Oh,
I couldn't.
Wow.
I could not.
Man, really?
I couldn't do it all in one sitting. I'm sorry. I tried to, and it was just like there were certain points that I was like, okay, let me put this down for a minute and stuff like that. Well, no, it wasn't like so much that I just didn't want it, because I didn't want to like get to the point where I'm like, screw this, and like, because I had a feeling that it was going to go somewhere.
And then it let you down.
No. It was actually very humorous, you know, as far as that, and I could appreciate it for what it was worth. It was just, the way it starts off, I thought it was going to go somewhere different, and it didn't. And then it was like, oh, all right, this is an interesting sort of thing. Where you had the real footage, in the background.
Oh yeah.
And so that was inventive. I haven't really seen many people do that sort of thing. So you really, in my opinion, which who knows, everybody's mileage may vary and stuff, but I thought that you did really well with the
What I got?
with the limited amount of
Yeah.
applications and technology that you had. And again, this is coming from somebody who did video production stuff for years with
Yeah.
what I had before I went to school. And then, so I'm like looking at this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is really homespun, and that's really one of the major keys. For me personally, other people, like I said, maybe other people are expecting some slick sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, and that's not what you're going to get here. But I thought that was part of its, what endeared it to me. That's why I'm a part of why I'm talking to you about this now. Because I'm like, wow, if that's really what he used, you did really well for what you had. I was like really impressed at the technological limitations that you had imposed upon you just by the nature of not having these production suites. And I mean, I don't even want to. I'm not even talking about the actual artwork itself.
Just making it work, I guess.
Just making it work, and which I noticed again. And this is really what saved it for me, like shutting it down when things were not happening in it for me. I was paying attention to what you were doing as far as how it was made, and so like I could see, all right, we have the background doing this, and you're zooming in, you're panning and scanning, and doing, like that. It was very inventive.
Yeah.
You fooled me. You made me think you knew what you were doing.
Hey. I do sort of know what I'm doing.
but no, I kid. Those things were really. I was like, wow. So, all right, let me let you get back to. So you were with Chris. You were talking about this stuff. You came up with the idea for a vampire skunk, which you thought would be
something to do.
Less edgy than a red and black OC, hedgehog, perhaps.
Sure.
From the fandom,
I haven't seen that movie though.
Oh, really? It's pretty. It's called Blahnik.
Blahnik? Is that real, or
yeah.
you being?
No, this is like ancient,
Okay.
dank memes as far as that's original. It's original. The character is the name of the movie, and then underneath it in small print it says "Donut Steal," which means "Do not steal." In fact, DeviantArt at one point was almost entirely devoted to Sonic fan art. So it's a lot. It's not quite as what I guess in the Sonic fandom that they would call hedgy.
What, my movie's not hedgy?
No. Actually, I didn't think that you were portraying certain tropes and stereotypes, but you weren't.
I'm so out of that loop.
It wasn't.
I'm just making a film.
There wasn't anything that was. Yeah, this is why it seemed like highly original, because you weren't basing it on other tropes. It was really inventive of your own accord, and you these things were even as kitschy or unfocused at certain points, perhaps.
It's still all me.
It was all and that's was really interesting to me that you although it seemed like most of your focus on there and everything had to do with the composition and actual putting together of and less about the script.
I mean,
to a certain extent,
there's a lot of character there. Though.
There is. Well, there's a lot of dialogue, which again, and this is one of the things that I personally really liked, because when I write, most of it's dialogue. Again, because I'm the oxygen thief, and as you can tell already now, I've by the way, folks, I've only known Cody here for less than on this level. Again, we had a couple of interactions outside of this, but for less than an hour. So this is like as cold of a call as you possibly could get and everything. Where it's like, I guess I could have gone one step further and just like dialed him at random and been like, I just saw your movie, let's talk about it. Which is almost kind of what happened.
A little bit. That is kind of what's happened.
But so that was part of the nature of why I wanted, because again, I wanted it to be spontaneous, and all these things have been going through my mind since I watched it. It took me 2 days to watch the entire thing, but I did watch the entire thing.
Well, that's good.
I made it up until the pizza delivery guy the first time, and then
stop right when he gets there. Or after
no, it was in the middle. It was in the middle of
just
that
couldn't handle
and everything, and it was I gotta be honest. And then once I came back to it, I could appreciate that for what it was worth. But I really all right. So
A lot of
so
okay.
how long? Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, it seems like, I guess I was just trying to get into your head of like a lot of unanswered questions. I feel like, and then you're like, well, here's a pizza guy. Now this is happening. I got to take a moment.
Well, it's not so much that it's again the original question, because I look at the top 5 questions, which we've touched upon like 3 or 4 of them. I thought that for me this seemed like it was something that could have taken a couple of years. For like on the back burner and things going on and stuff,
yeah.
and so you're really saying, and looking at your Furfinity site, and then obviously your Tumblr. I did this, so really it was like from January until May.
Yeah, which is what, 2.5 years?
No. Like, like, so it wasn't just January of this year.
No, 2013.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. So I was sort of right on that. So it was a couple of years of in the process, because it does. It's for 2 people. And I don't know much.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Mr. Fife did, but it seems that you. And again,
A lot of the visual is to his.
Oh well, I have to give him some compliments on certain.
I mean, the
aspects
backgrounds totally are all him.
You guys did really well with what you had there and everything. I mean, again, there are, and again, this isn't like your senior thesis. No, seriously, I'm gonna get into that too. How I found your actual movie.
Yeah.
And stuff. But yeah, so all right, so you have these 2 things, and so that was back in 2013, and then it was kind of a piecemeal thing where you guys would go back to it when you had time.
Yeah, I mean, first I wanted to say, like, when the original idea started, I told Chris, like, I think we should do this, and let's see if we can. Like, let's get to this point, like, to where spoilers, he bites the victim, and thinking really that's like maybe a 2-minute scene. Let's see if we can do that, and if we can't, I don't really think we can do anything.
Cody, I think it's safe to say that with the name of the film being Vampire Skunk,
you never know.
You're not. It's not major. It's not. This isn't a Shalamar film. There's no twist. It's like, I mean, the big reveal at the end is that he lost all his teeth and couldn't bite.
Yeah. The only twist is how disappointed you'll feel after watching it.
I will say that I've been more disappointed in somewhat similar things. How's that? I mean, I'm not gonna. I won't say that I didn't scratch my head and say, I spent 2 days like going through this entire. Really, as far as obviously,
like that was full of crap.
No. It wasn't full of crap. I was just like, wow, that.
I'm not trying to like be sarcastic about it, because I have heard that from people of like
no, it wasn't. For what it was. Again, I wasn't expecting a Hollywood production. And especially when I was reading, because you thankfully, like a lot of people, they don't give any info and stuff, but thankfully you gave plenty of info, and so if you were curious like I was, folks, the research was easily there, and so I but it didn't answer obviously. Well, again, I wanted to talk to the man involved, and everything with the holding the master reins of the entire project, really, as far as that, and so you and he did that, and it took a while. You went back and forth to it for a bit. And you had that original part of the openings before before they leave the opening scene, really. And that was that kind of like a screen test of like what you could do with what you had.
Yeah, pretty much, because like I say, so many failed projects, and it's always best to try to go small.
Oh, keep it simple is like the best way to. You have to sometimes. And I mean, and then, again, lowered expectations. No expectations, no disappointments. So, especially when you're like, again, a lot of people, they get wrapped up in like, I want this, and this, and then they realize what they can do, and they're like, oh, well, maybe, And so there's, if you aim low, you might shoot higher. You never know.
Yeah.
Which maybe maybe you did on this. I will say at certain points, I was like, wow. I was impressed on certain levels as far as that. But yeah, so you had and then so that was enough to grant you the ambition to move forward, or like once you got that in the can, or what?
Yeah, it just kept moving forward pretty much. I mean, the very first thing was I told Chris, paint me a background of a graveyard, and he texted me that, and I was like, well, that looks really nice.
You need to this isn't like one major project that you guys had this high vision. It was sort of like
it became that, I think.
You, from what you're telling me and what I kind of saw in it, it almost seems like a series of sketches kind of linked together, and you can tell where it's not random. There's there is a plot, so to speak, and and you do have there is a cohesion to it. It flows well, but you can see where perhaps there were spans of time in between sections that you guys, were putting things together. As far as that, I have I guess the closest thing I could say is that I have some artists that I've worked with over a span of years on some series pictures, and you can see their art talent improve.
Yeah, that's what Chris
as it
said.
goes on. Yeah, and so and I was going to mention this too. Looking at some of the stuff from the beginning of the film,
to the later background,
to the late, when you're a good half hour into it. That's another reason why I was like, this must have taken a couple of years, because I can see the little bits, the bits between the bits, really.
Yeah.
As far as that, and I was impressed. I was impressed with, like, you guys stuck to it.
Yeah.
To make this sort of thing. And so was there a point where you're like, okay, how do we end this?
Oh God, yeah.
Because it shows
like,
a little bit.
Yeah I'll give anybody that totally. Shows.
I mean, I will give you credit. It didn't end with a smash cut, which so many things that have now. I mean, it's like I weep for I weep for the legions of creative individuals that were raised on Family Guy.
Oh God!
That where things just end on a smash cut, and it's
on
like
a bump.
Yeah, and you're just like feeling all like disenchanted and upset, and you're just like, oh. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some. I'm not here to talk about Family Guy or any of that type of stuff, but that sort of thing where you guys kind of went, and it was fun. That was the major thing that I guess really. And I've seen some other folks' stuff that they kind of did almost alone. I'm glad that you had somebody with you, because this sort of thing, to do everything like that and everything, it gets a little crazy to not be able to pass the baton at certain points. And so I will ask you this though: you did all the voice work.
Yep.
Did you do all the Foley? And the music as well is all yours?
Yep.
Did you compose it all? Did you use it from a freeware library? As far as
no.
You everything that we hear in this was composed by you.
Yeah.
You have my my amazement for that, actually, because as somebody who's done kind of in the past like 10 years or so really kind of fallen into doing more audio production than video production. I was impressed. I'm always impressed because sound, video is tough, and you can do certain things.
The sound is what lights it up, though.
People pay, and I learned this as well. You can. One of the things they said, if you have if your footage fails, and everything like that, as long as the sound is clean and doesn't, and you can. That's why people like superimpose things over certain stuff and everything like that. As long as the sound is there, people are willing to give up some of the quality as far as the visuals.
Yeah.
But if you botch both of them, it's like if there's let's say there's like some footage or something, and something happens, you drop the camera or whatever and everything like that, and so if the video glitches and the sound glitches at the same time, it's unforgivable.
Right.
But if the video glitches and the sound is fine, they won't take it as like a glitch the same way, really.
Yeah.
And so, but anyways, that's neither here nor there, other than the fact that I was impressed by the level of clarity, some of the voice acting. Some. Well, I only.
Some's bad.
No. Because again, some of the characters were a little. I don't know. Tepid, I guess, as far. Tepid, as far as it was like, why are they there? Like, why is this? Like it's not quite to the level of Saturday Night Live where you're like, why is this skit still going on? And why are they focused on these people?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But it was like certain aspects of it, and I know I'm kind of a pain in the ass when it comes to looking at these things. I pay a little more attention to the audio on certain things. But most of it was, it was really it was better than a lot of other things. Did you ever just get burnt out on this project where you're like, or did you just say that's good enough? Let's move on.
Yeah, of course I got burned out.
Were you the one that did you assemble? So obviously Chris did a lot of the ingredients. I guess is a good way. Visual ingredients. Were you the one to actually put it together in Movie Maker or whatever you were using? What did you use to edit?
That was one of the Vegases. Where is it here?
Sony.
Vegas Movie Studio. Yeah.
All right. That is what saved your ass.
What?
Because it shows in how good, like, the editing and the way you were able to do stuff and everything.
No, you could do that with Movie Maker, but
not as well. All right. Look,
it would crash a lot.
No, you'd have to do it in bits. You'd have to do it in bits and then combine.
I did do it in bits, though.
No, I mean tiny bits.
Yeah.
And it's like almost every cut.
Yeah.
Essentially. But when you said you used MS Paint, I then and I read that somewhere that's what you used. I defaulted to if he's using MS Paint, he's probably using Movie Maker.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's the tried and true.
And I was like, this is really good for Movie Maker. So you saying that puts my mind at ease a bit more. So I'm like, oh, good, because that would have been. If you had used Movie Maker to make that entire thing, I would have been like, you are a masochist. Because that's there ain't no pain like dealing with like crummy software.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, I'm impressed with how well you synced the audio to the mouth movements.
Yeah, that's the dirge of my existence. That part,
Cody. That's the rub. That is like that is the type of thing. This is one of the main reasons why I'm actually here, doing this. Is that I was like that. Is golden. You because everything else can be utter crap, but you've got the basic things down, the rudiments that make things work. And it's like, wow. And then part of me was saying, I don't want to. This may sound insulting. I'm like, man, imagine if he had like if his heart was really into this and he had like a script. And like, no, I'm not saying that your heart wasn't into what you were doing there, but like the writing and like, imagine if they had like a real story to tell. This could have been kind of like something really more people should be talking about. Not tongue in cheek and being kind of like oh, look at this furry thing. I'd be like, oh, look at this furry story that's like, geez, this shouldn't be this good. That's what I'm saying. As far as that, because you could have really gone somewhere like all the technical stuff. Was really spot on. So, and I think there's the rub that it glares to me, and that's why I was making the Seinfeld references and things where it was like it unraveled. It's because the technical stuff was tight. It was really tight, and so it showed the flaws in the writing more, which is the total opposite of everything else in the film. I have friends that base entire careers, they're in print and stuff. My friend Agouti Rex, in fact, he does a podcast called Show, and he is a decent artist, but his talents don't lie in the actual art part. They lie in the storytelling. And so he's great at composition and comic panels, and the art is kind of like an afterthought. And the story is there, and that's not where this was. I mean, in the beginning a little bit actually, but like I said, the voice acting was really good. I'll give you props for that. And I heard, I'll put it this way, I was interested enough to go through your FA and listen to the other voice acting things that you did in the characters. And stuff. So there's like it's very funny. I was also curious to know, like, is this all him? And yes, it is, folks. Cody does all the voices that you hear in Vampire Skunk, which is really some of the things you can tell. Other things I'm like, wow. Also, Anignar's voice must kill you.
Kill me?
Kill you. I heard you having like at the end of one of the promos, one of the audio promos that you had.
I call.
You lost it. And everything, and I was
I was a little sick then.
Well, dude, then the voice itself, it must, you have like a gallon of water next to you to be able to like.
He's not that bad.
Do you? And so, all right, this is one of the things that I was really. Can you do him like on a moment's notice? Because some folks can just do certain voices very, or is it something you have? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I can totally do it. I'm just so embarrassed.
And stuff. Well, again, that's like one of the fun little things as stuff. But so maybe a little later on we'll
save that for later.
I'll get my Ouija board out and we'll summon Anagram perhaps, and
yes.
maybe he'll. If we're lucky, if we all hold hands, some
yes.
some ectoplasm will fall and he'll come out of the shadows.
I will say though, like going back to like when it began, it might be interesting to say that like that wasn't his original voice. He was, like ideas kind of start. It was just kind of like, a vampire skunk. He'd be Transylvanian, or.
I'm surprised we didn't. I didn't want to really, again, spoilers and stuff. But again, you hit on certain vampire tropes, but you didn't really run it into the ground. You didn't hit other things, and even though with other characters, other undead characters in there, that you did kind of hit certain. So it was very funny to see the things that you. Because this is, again. And talking to the people, obviously, if you're this far in, you must be again a masochist to be listening to this, or I've piqued your curiosity about this, and some of this is a little bit of a throwback to. I would imagine that you are definitely a fan of certain horror movies, because I could see some homages to certain things.
Like what?
And obviously the demon stuff. Certain parts of that, and the jokes and tongue-in-cheek sort of thing. Less the original horror movies and more like the spoof horror movies that have come out in the past like 20 or 30 years, where they're kind of tongue-in-cheeking it, making. Obviously, it's things are happening, but they're also things like I don't want to say scary movie, but like Fright Night and other things like that, where they're like most horror movies, it's like they're not aware of like whatever things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking, and there's a lot of I know that's supposed to kill me sort of moment, and so I could see little pieces possibly, although I might be reading too much into it.
I've not seen a lot of that stuff, to be honest. Like I do. A weird relationship with horror stuff, I guess. Like I do really like that type of stuff, that Halloween-y stuff and spooky things, but by and large, there's not a whole lot of horror movies that I uber like. They usually devolve into just someone's trying to kill me. And that's
right. Well, it's of course, and everybody.
Horror games are pretty cool.
True enough. So you do all the voices. You did all the. There's not a huge amount of Foley work. Foley kids being all the sound effect type stuff. If you're not on par with these terms, you're getting your Webster dictionary out and stuff. And then all right. So let's talk about the music, because the music. No. I was again looking at certain points, because after I watched it, I went back to certain points, just to certain things that I remembered. I'm like, let's look at this again, and let's focus on certain things that the first time watcher wouldn't. And so I was like listening. In fact, I wasn't even. I just had the audio up. And was doing other things and just listening to that stuff, because that's one of the things is really great to do, to get a certain idea for where production is at. And so I was impressed with the music stuff on certain levels. And so all these things, and again looking through your FA and things that you had posted of a musical that your kids. Cody is a musician. He's got some stuff on his account you should check out. It's like actually very interesting. The Peppa Pig theme, actually. I know. Well, I don't want to chump it. I actually did go through stuff and listen, and so I'm not. I have to let everybody know that I actually did this, and you should too. You should check it out. I'm gonna give links if this ever goes live. You'll definitely have all sorts of links to these things, which I find very. Again, we also we being the folks that were in that call that went on for a few hours that night, they also went and were curious, because our curiosity got the best of us. We were definitely there. So, but you do all the music. And so what do you use? Like, you tell us about that a little bit, Cody.
As cheap as can be, like everything, I guess.
So you have some like emulators and MIDI plug-in stuff, or what do you have? Are you playing actual instruments, or are you playing?
Yeah.
What do you? Please tell me about that then.
I mean, it's just servicing as a MIDI. It's right here. This thing that the microphone is resting on. This just cheap Casio. and it just plugs into the computer.
Sure,
and
it's like a USB thing where you dump it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And then the demo version of Fruity Loops. Because...
Hey, I use a full version of Fruity Loops, actually, mostly for percussion. And your use of music in the production, as it would, for a horror movie, which is, this is, with a name like Vampire Skunk, I would hope that it's horror-based. The music was used really well at certain points, and for comedic effect at certain points too.
Yeah.
You definitely, I caught that. You didn't. One of the things I'll give you a huge amount of credit for too is you didn't. A lot of people, and again, but it turns your production into something else. You didn't use sound effects as a comedic thing. You kept certain like you. This is whimsical, this production stuff, but it's on this substrate layer of seriousness. Like there's, it never completely falls apart into just like ridiculousness, And one of the things that I've told people and I really adhere to is like, if you're going to be ridiculous, be as ridiculous as you possibly can. There's no don't hold back, because you won't be able to sell it. If you're just a little bit ridiculous, then people will be like, well, is he being serious? Should I take this for this and stuff like that? And you have a pretty firm handle on some of that, although sometimes there's a little bit of like, wait, is this for real? And stuff, but all these production aspects and elements and values that you have there are really they're solid. Do you have a really good handle on this stuff? How long have you been doing this type of stuff for?
Which part? The making the movie part?
No. Any of this stuff. So again, like we talked about, again, you were talking about back in 2013, which is like 2.5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
How long have you been like doing any technical type of stuff? So like, you said this Casio and MIDI stuff. How long have you? All right, so you haven't been playing it all your life. How long have you been?
Well, I guess when I was 16, I sort of picked up a bass and kind of fooled around with that with friends.
That seems to be like a go-to easy sort of instrument for people to like to kind of get their feet wet and stuff, and not. It's like the non-scary instrument. But anyways, so and then what? You went from there to what?
I mean, I kind of played like just jamming with some of my friends who weren't really very serious about it, and then that kind of trailed off, and then I kind of found myself like just by myself music-wise. And so I just kind of started to record myself and try things out. Then I guess really, maybe when I was 20, I kind of just found the keyboard, sort of. I think there was just like a cheap one at my mom's. And just kind of played with that and kind of thought, yeah, I think I get this a little bit more than I do bass. There's not all these frets.
It seemed like the music stuff, to a certain extent, although when I go, and I will after this probably go back and listen to certain elements of that. It seemed like it was a little more cohesive at certain points than the actual like storyline.
The actual movie.
Than the actual movie, which is good because again, and those things bridged scenes. You used it really well to make it flow and fluidity. That's like one of the things that saved everything. From completely disintegrating at certain points is because you had the music taking over and using when you don't have visual as far as that so you're kind of you let the music do the talking, so to speak,
sure, for
that type of stuff. And then I mean there's only when I'm mentioning like lacking in certain areas, there's only like certain parts that I'm talking about, because there's like in the bits between the bits, like I was saying before, that really I was like, oh, this you could have. And again, nobody knows this until after the fact. That's why you have outside editors to help you cut out the riffraff, so to speak, and stuff. And so this is like a homespun thing. And you did all so that you had the ingredients, most of the stuff, some of the character designs and everything that you came up with personally. They were based on your intellectual properties, I would imagine. And then Chris helped bring a lot of those to life. Did he do, like, you're the one who animated this essentially? Did you what drawings are yours and what drawings are his?
That's such a specific question. I mean, I always said if it looks really good, it's probably his.
All right, how about the characters themselves? Now, again, a lot of the backgrounds and stuff. You already said on there that the background out, and so the character art and the animation. So he did. Did he come to you with like? Again, I know how with voice acting, you do well, the industry does things a certain way. How did you do this? Did you do the the animation and then matched your voice to how did you do that?
I'm trying to remember. How did I do that?
How many Adderall prescriptions did you blow through?
Yeah.
In order to get this done, it's really.
I mean, I very much have my own unique way of doing things.
Did you do what was the audio first and then the animation came, or did you sync the audio to the existing animation?
Well, I mean, this definitely would have been record the dialogue and then piece together the mouth movements over that.
Wow. So
my script would never be that tight to where I could just like, yeah, I know exactly.
True enough. No, true. Of course, that's why I asked, because I didn't think that you and knowing that you've done many of the other elements of production in your own way, that's what makes it very wholesome and very interesting and different than other people's stuff, because again you used things in a different way and went in your own direction, your own techniques, and that's what makes it very personal. And feel personal. I will say that you inadvertently made me have a chuckle, and which may, or a sensible chortle, that you might have noticed, which was really funny because of the name of one of my pseudonyms on Tumblr. Anignar actually has a meta moment where he apologizes for being a bit snarky.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Which made me laugh. Because I'm there. I was kind of apologizing for being a tad snarky.
Yeah,
and it's in my name, like the name of my that's like what you originally, knew me as. Whereas obviously my name,
that was it.
The name I go by is Farks, and not that one. That's like a pseudonym that I get. We can pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But anyways, so I thought that was really funny to have that like sort of thing. I'm like, wow, is he talking to me? Because I don't know this guy. This is one of the great things about certain works of art. This is a work of art, by the way. I will give you. I will give you that. Everybody can take away a little bit from this. I want to say that in the beginning, it's very loud. There's a lot of, and I guess that really does set the tone, because we open in a cemetery.
Yeah.
And as some vampires, I guess. That's where they hang out and stuff. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about. Maybe vampire skunks hang out in cemeteries.
Yeah, maybe.
And stuff and everything. I also thought it was great. I thought it was great that you didn't play up the skunk trope, and so there's no spraying.
Yeah.
There's no. Again, you really went against the grain, where a lot of people would have easily taken liberties, well-established liberties.
Yeah.
As far as that.
That's the trouble with everything. Everything seems to have its own baggage. I mean, just furry stuff in general has its own baggage.
Oh yeah, well, it's because it's not. Most of it's very uninventive, unfortunately. It's very pedantic. I mean. And you're hearing a massive blowhard go on about this stuff. So I will say this. I did overall enjoy it. Will I be watching all 39 minutes and 42 seconds of Vampire Skunk again anytime soon? Probably not, but I think I will. It's something that I may revisit a couple of bits. There was one I'm not remembering exactly in the beginning, but again, one of the friends that was in there. There was a line in the beginning and I should have actually written this down, but I didn't earlier.
Maybe I can remember. I don't know.
It was something about the cemetery itself, and him. It's like, it's a spooky cemetery, or something like that.
He's like, what kind of
what kind of graveyard is this?
Very spooky one.
A very spooky one.
Yeah.
That's what got a couple of the guys to watch it.
Oh.
was that line. It's like, that can't be enough.
I see.
And again, this wasn't me bringing it up.
Mm.
They brought that up to me, and that's like what they'll probably remember the most, from the entire thing, because that's just like, again, that's the opening. Obviously, animation is something that you have a bit of a knack for. In this, this wouldn't have worked if you didn't have a certain.
Yeah, I've made that joke. If I got in a skunk costume and went to a graveyard and filmed it, I don't know if that would have the same effect.
Little cosplaying, yeah. And your fursuit. All right, so we've been through most of the bullet points, and I want to thank you for granting me this opportunity to pick your brain.
Well, thanks for being interested in it. I mean, I appreciate somebody being interested, interested.
That was what I almost was like, how could I not? After looking at this, and obviously I knew there was more to it. There was a lot of integrity and a lot of personality involved with this production. What I wanted to say in looking at this, and then how obviously having it be recommended to me, because I was looking for something of a similar nature, perhaps, another DIY. Do you even want that? Again, you were talking about how you don't really like having tags or categorizations.
But that's fine if they come up.
It's imaginary animal people, anthropomorphized sort of stuff.
That's fine. I mean, people can call it whatever they want when it gets out. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, like we said, it's obviously a little silly when it becomes. Is Looney Tunes inherently furry? I mean, I guess it is. But I mean,
some of it, yeah, I guess. Especially when Bugs puts on, he dresses.
I mean, is that the definition?
No, I'm kidding, of course. It's obviously when Fifi LaFume is there being all romantic.
Oh boy,
stuff. Yeah, I know, isn't it? Oh God. So there's two things I'll say in wrapping this up as far as the talk about this. One, I was really surprised that there was the lack of notoriety given the amount of effort put into it, and that's probably another one of the reasons why I was like, okay, more people have. I need to.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Even if I'm being snide in my commentary and stuff as tongue-in-cheek joking, sort of thing. More people need to at least be able to have their own opinions.
That's a good way to put it.
Too much effort went into this to have it go unnoticed entirely. So you did great for where you hit a lot of the marks that I think that you were kind of going for.
Yeah.
And overall, I would say it was enjoyable, even though a lot of people might not. They'd be like, wow, this could have been 8 minutes long and been much better and stuff. I think part of the draw of it is because it's a mix between a less scripted Monty Python and a furry undead Seinfeld episode. I'm sorry, I still hold. Once we get out of a certain area of the storytelling, it does fall into. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to overlook the small elements that really make this a pretty neat. And looking at it actually sitting here talking with you, I realized that there's a lot more that went into it than was on the surface, even from me just watching it, realizing little bits and pieces and everything like that, which is great. So I want to thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for putting yourself out there, and because you kind of, unfortunately, when you do something of this nature, you paint a target on yourself.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I've been a little hesitant into the podcast itself, because I've been a little thin-skinned dealing with other things, and I didn't want to hang myself up as a target.
It's tough to be ready to jump in.
Well, you're exposing yourself to the and it goes with my brand of humor and stuff. I need to be able to take it as well as dish it. And so I was like, I'm gonna wait on this and maybe I'll have some things in the can before I go live. Again, one of the things too, I didn't think this, but other folks tend to think that folks that make things like this are a little weird. To say the least, and that's so when the fandom is calling you weird,
that's good. You've done something.
I guess so. Yeah, you certainly have been noticed. Yeah. I didn't think so. I was, in fact, you're way more down to earth than some of the other folks I've interviewed or talked to. about certain projects, and it's refreshing actually to know that this was all based on certain whimsies and certain like fun things, and not there's no pretensions. You know, you're hugely down to earth and redeeming. You know, it's fun. You know,
Yeah.
that's what that's what it should be. That's really, you know.
Totally. Sums it all.
I definitely get the feeling that you were doing this for yourself first, and then after the fact, you're like, oh, this is great. I hope people will get a kick out of this, and I look forward to seeing your future endeavors. To be honest, you know, this is pretty neat. I hope, if nothing, you know, to quell some the curiosities that you raised, and it possibly inadvertently raised. You know, with this certain stream of consciousness that was going on, the slice of life areas of Vampire Skunk. Again, I want to thank you for letting me take up your afternoon.
That's fine.
And you know, we have some really great, neat stuff. I look forward to anything, you know, you do, even if it has nothing to do with this. Again, this is a fun little romp.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when the sun sets and darkness falls, strange creatures begin to stir.
They sure do.
Thanks again, Cody.
Thanks.
It was great to meet you. I look forward to talking to you in the future and stuff.
All right, thanks. You too.
Now it's over.